Okay, so in the last session we have discussed about longitude, latitude, measure names and measure values. So these are auto-generated fields in Tableau. So today we are going to discuss about extract and live connection. Can you all go on mute? Okay, so we are going to discuss about live and extract today. So let's connect to sample superstore. Okay, so by default, whenever you connect to any data source, by default, whenever we connect to any data source, that will be in live connection. Okay, so live connection is nothing but it's directly connecting to the data source. So whatever change happens in the data source, let's say in Oracle some new rows got added, so those rows that impact will show in the dashboard. So those rows also will be shown in the Tableau dashboard. Let's say even if I connect to any Excel data source with a live connection, so if you change or if you add a few more records in those Excel file, so you can keep on adding those records. So those records will be added into the live connection. And we also have one more type of connection, which is extract. So extract meaning, so it creates a hyper file, hyper connection file, hyper extension file. Okay, so that will create hyper extension file. So live connection, I'll just show you. Okay, so live connection is like connecting to the data source directly, and whatever change happens in the data source, it will reflect in the Tableau. So it is better to keep dashboards in live connection. So I will tell you one scenario why we keep live connection. So in live connection, the data is live, where you will get the accurate updates or recent updates. Okay, when I say recent updates, so if you take in the case of stock exchange. Okay, so stock exchange will, so you will see the updates then and there. So whatever change happens in the data, or so if something is going up or something is going down, so you will see those changes then and there itself. So in those cases, we see live connection. So even if you see some matches on the cricket matches, so whenever some over is completed or one ball is completed in the cricket, so you can see in the reporting, so those slides are getting updated. So they are connecting to the live data. So because of that, we are able to see live reporting in cricket matches and all. So in the same way, so when you're in business, if you connect to the live data, so it will connect. So whatever changes or whatever the rows that are got added, or whatever rows which are got updated, so based on that, our data, our Tableau dashboard will also get updated. So I'll just show you one basic Excel. Yeah, so this is one basic Excel. So I'll just connect to this basic Excel in Tableau. Let's connect to one basic Excel. Okay, so you can see these records. So when I say live, so if I add one more record, like this. So here I have add some record here. So what happens in the background? So this records will get updated in the Tableau dashboard also. So let's take the count, sheet 1 count. Okay, so currently it has 9 rows. And I have added one more row, which became 10 rows. And let's just refresh this one. So if I do a refresh, I need to save this file. So until unless you save that file, this record won't be added to this Excel. And you do a refresh. So this will change to 10 rows. Okay, now you can see 10 records. So in the same way, after updating to the Tableau server, so you don't need to touch this dashboard. You don't need to right click on this and do some refresh or these things. So whenever that row, which I have added just now, okay, not only one row or two rows, like you can add millions of records into it, and those records will be updated in the Tableau accordingly whatever graphs that are there in the dashboard. So accordingly, those records will also be updated. So yeah, so I have added this record. So these record details also got updated. So this is the way where we can make use of this live connection. So in live connections, you don't need to do anything. So it directly whatever data is getting added to the data source, Tableau automatically will pick the data. Tableau automatically pick the data without manual intervention. Without manual intervention. So that's about live connection. Now we will talk about extract. Okay, so extract meaning attaching data to the file. Attaching data to the file. And this needs to be scheduled. Okay, so when I say schedule, so it won't, so it will take the snapshot of data at that point of time. So at that snapshot of data at that point of time. And data will get updated based on the schedule time. Based on the schedule time. Okay, so why it is like that? So let me just right click and do an extract. So extract meaning this data will be attached to this Tableau workbook. Okay, so let's say if I send this file to you, so if I send this Tableau workbook to you, as you didn't have this basic Excel file in your PC, so you won't be able to see anything in the charts. So you won't see the data or you won't see the sheets which I have created. So you won't see anything until unless you have this file with you. Okay, so when in live connection, if you share the files with anyone, so they won't be able to access. So when you do an extract, what happens is, so it will create a hyper file which will be attached to this Tableau workbook. So if I send this file to anybody, so data is also attached, and then there is no point of sending the Excel file to them. So data is attached and they will be able to see these records. And one more important thing is, so whatever at this point of time, I have 10 records in this data. So this 10 records will be there in the Tableau dashboard until unless I do one more extract refresh. So until unless I do this extract again, so I won't be getting the updates from the database. So it's the same thing. So even if you publish it to the server, so it will not be directly connected. So it won't take the updates from the database. It won't take updates from database until the schedule time. Okay, so the schedule time starts from 15 minutes to 15 minutes. We can keep hourly, we can keep weekly, daily, monthly, like this. Okay, if so there are some data, let's say the data is itself is coming monthly, so then there is no point you refresh daily or for every 15 minutes. So then you can keep it monthly at particular time. You can set the time, let's say every month on 5th 9 a.m. you want to refresh. So every month 5th 9 a.m. it will get refreshed. So whatever data is available till 9 a.m. so that will get uploaded. If any records are getting uploaded after 9 a.m. Tableau will not consider those records, or Tableau will not be able to fetch those records. Why? Because this extract refresh is scheduled for 5th 9 a.m. So that's every month 5th 9 a.m. So it will take data only at that point of time. So that's about extract. Okay, so now we'll see in the PPT. So live connection is like connecting to the data source directly, and whatever change happens in data source, it will reflect directly in the Tableau. So by default, it will be live connection. So when whatever data source that you connect to, so it will be live connection. So I have connected to sample superstore, and that is live connection. So how we can say it is live or uh, extract? So I'll just show you. So there is an icon where we can identify it as a live or extract. Okay, so you can see this symbol where it is one cylinder. So it is represented by one cylinder. So that is that represents live connection. Live connection. And we also have dual cylinder with a arrow mark inside. So that is extract connection. Okay, so by seeing the data source, you can say whether it is in live connection or it is in extract connection. For live connection, while publishing, we need to schedule the refreshes. For live connection, you don't need to schedule anything. Why? Because it's already taking the updates from the data source. So you don't need to put any schedule for some live connection. For extract connection, we need to do the scheduling. Why? Because it needs the updates from the database at certain time. So it is denoted by single cylinder as shown in the image. Now let's see extract. So extract connection is like connecting to the snapshot of data. So snapshot of data meaning whatever data is available at the point of time. So whenever we are doing extract, so at that point of time, whatever data is available, Tableau will create a file for that and it will store the data. So changes that happens in the backend will not reflect in Tableau until unless we do a refresh. We do a refresh or we do a schedule refresh. The extract has to be done manually by right clicking on the data source. Okay, so as Tableau, so when you are creating an extract, Tableau won't take the updated data. So if you want to refresh the data, there are only two options. So one option is schedule. So at that point of time, like whatever time that you have given, if you are given 5th of every month 9 a.m. Okay, so it will refresh at every month 9 a.m. It will refresh on 5th, or you can do a manual refresh. Manual refresh, even in the server, even in the Tableau workbook. So how we can do that? You can do a refresh. With that, you will get it, or you can do an extract. Okay, so while doing an extract, so we can also do incremental refresh as well. Okay, so what is incremental refresh? So I'll just tell you. So all rows meaning. So let's say in my Excel, so currently in this Excel, I have 10 rows. Okay, I have 10 rows. If I do an all rows, let's say 2 more rows got added into that Excel. Okay, I have added 2 more rows. So when I added 2 more rows into the data, okay, and when I use all rows option in extract. Okay, so here I'm using this all rows option. Okay, so my total is 12 rows. So in this 12 rows, so it will refresh all the 12 rows again. All the 12 rows again. Okay, and if you do an incremental refresh, okay, incremental refresh, you can select date, or we can select any new column. Okay, let's say employee ID. If any new employee IDs are got added. So in this, there are 2 new rows. So Tableau will identify only those 2 rows. So incremental refresh. incremental refresh. So Tableau will identify, so new, 10 rows are already there in the Excel file. In Tableau, 10 rows are already there. So you can see that only 2 rows we need to add to the dashboard. So it will only add 2 rows. So which becomes 10 plus 2, 12 rows again. Okay, in the previous case, it is taking, it is refreshing all the rows again, which is taking 12 rows. So in the incremental refresh, what is happening is whatever data which is already there, it will not take the, it will not consider those records. Only it will take the extra rows which came in. Okay, so for that we can put a condition. So the new column will have new values in that. Okay, so whatever values which are existing, it will not pick those values. And the new values it will take. So that way incremental refresh improves the performance. Why? Because it is not hitting all the rows. It is hitting only the extra rows which we need. So this might be, helpful when you have millions of records. Let's say you have 10 millions of rows which are already there in your data, and new 2 million records that you need to add. Okay. So if you do a normal extract refresh, you need to wait for fetching 12 million records. It will be too hassle. Like it will take some time, from 5 to 10 minutes of time to retrieve the data. But in case of incremental refresh, this 10 million, it won't consider, it will not take this 10 million again. It will only fetch 2 million records. Okay, so fetching 12 million records, it will take some 5 to 10 minutes of time. But fetching 2 million records will take very less time, or 1 or 2 minutes. So this way, it improves the performance. So that's the option which is available in extract mode. In live mode, it is already directly connected. So if new rows are got added or some existing rows updated, so all this will be taken in live connection. But in extract connection, we have two options: all rows and incremental refresh. So based on column, we can get the new rows into the data. So that's about live. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a live connection. Hmm. Yeah. Yes, correct. Yeah, so that's about extract and live connection. Now we will see how to save the Tableau file. So there are two options which are available. So let me just show you. So do a save as. Okay, so while trying to save, you will see two options. One is TWB and one is TWBX. So I'll tell you what is TWB and what is TWBX. But TWB is nothing but Tableau Workbook, and TWBX is Tableau Workbook extract. Okay, so TWB will have only the visualization. Okay, and it will not have the data in it. So let's say I have connected to these files. Okay, so sample superstore or this basic Excel file I have connected to. So that basic Excel file is in my PC. So if I share this file, so others won't be able to access this Tableau dashboard. Why? Because it is just accessing Excel from my PC. So if I share that file, if I share this Tableau workbook with you, so you won't be able to access this Tableau workbook. Why? Because then it will throw an error saying that Excel file is not available. Okay, why? Because you don't have access to data, so it will throw an error. So if I save this file in TWB format, okay, if you don't have the access to file, so then it will say Excel file not available. Okay, and yeah, so if you save it in TWB format and if you want to share this file, so as it will contain only visualization, you won't be able to see anything in the file. Until unless you have this file with you, this Excel file with you, you won't be able to see anything. And TWB is called as Tableau Workbook Extract and also can be called as Packaged Workbook. Packaged Workbook. It will store data, visualization, images. So everything it will get stored. So that's why we call this as a packaged workbook. So if you want to share this file with anybody, it's good that you can share this in this format, TWBX format. Why? Because if you are sharing, they don't need to have any access to any files. Okay, so as I have this basic Excel in my system, so if I want to share, so I will share this workbook with you and you can see whatever the images or whatever the sheets that I have created. So all this data that you can see. So currently whatever number of records are there, so there are 10 records. So whatever those 10 records are there, so those 10 records will be visible to the person who has sent this file. So that's about TWB and TWBX format. So let me just say, so desktop session 25, sorry, session 5, save. And let me do a save as TWBX. Okay, save. Now let me show you desktop. Okay, so you can see the difference also. So session 4, and you can see in the extension, TWB is showing as Tableau Workbook and TWBX is showing as Tableau Packaged Workbook. In the type, it is showing as Tableau Packaged Workbook. So if I share this file, so they won't be able to access the dashboard. Why? Because the file is in my PC. And if I share this packaged workbook, so even if you don't have the access to Excel file, you will be able to see the dashboard or the data what is available at this point of time. So that's about TWB and TWBX. Yeah. So TWBX stands for Tableau Workbook Extract or Tableau Package Workbook, and it will store data, images, custom color palettes, and visualization. So if you wish to share the dashboard, so it will be accessible to anyone if you extract the data. So there is no need of saving source file in the shared location. Okay, so in our organizations, we maintain this shared location. So shared location is basically everybody can access it from their system and there will be one server. So that server can be accessible to anyone in the organization. So you can put there and that file will be accessible to your organization people. So if you send the file and if you put the file in that location and even if you send TWB format also, people will be able to access within your organization. So that's about TWB and TWBX format. So I'll just take a pause before going to Tableau session 5. So any questions? Yeah, Rakib. Hmm. TWBX is different. Live and extract is different. You are combining both. TW. Hmm. Hmm. Yes, correct. Correct. Hmm. Hmm. See, edit vagera you can do only when you have Tableau desktop. The other person who is having access, so, so if he has access to Tableau desktop, then he can edit or you can do anything. Hmm. So if no data is there, let's say no data is there, will it show anything? It won't show anything. So it will have visualization, but it won't show anything. So if I send the file later if I send Excel file to him, then so initially when he opens, it will give an error saying file is not available. Okay, later if I send Excel file, this basic Excel file later to you, and when it is giving error, then you can connect to this Excel and then it will show the visualization. The point is data will not, if data is not there, you won't see any visualization. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. So basically whenever we connect to any data source, so it will connect as live mode only. Okay. So this is connected in live mode. So how we can know that? So it's with a cylinder symbol. Okay. So this is helpful when you are publishing it to the servers. So uh, live and extract. You will know these two things when you publish it to server. Publish it to server. Why? Because so in while I'm connecting into my PC, so to update, I need to do refresh for both extracts. So if I want to see updated data, so if I do an extract or live, it's both same. But while publishing in the server, so when you connect it to Oracle or to connect it to SQL, so live and extract is different. Okay, so live will take the updates from the Excel file, or it will take the updates from the Oracle or SQL Server. Let's say if I add one record, India, and something like some random data I'm entering. Okay, so I have added this record. Okay, in live, you don't need to touch the published server. So let's say we have dashboards in, I'll just show you one dashboard. Okay, so this is the dashboard that I have published in Tableau Public. So likewise, you will publish it in Tableau server in your organization. So what happens in this Tableau server is, so let's say I have updated some records for home office in data in Excel file or in the Oracle server. So if I have updated some records, so let's say this number should change to 268 to 368. Let's say 268 to 368 in live connection. So if I update some records in the file or in the Oracle server or SQL server, so this number will automatically be updated without any manual intervention. So I don't need to touch anything here. So without any manual intervention, these records will get updated based on the live connection. But in case of extract connection, in case of extract connection, there are two options. You need to schedule or you need to manually refresh. Okay, so extract connection will not, let's say if I have added this let's say 100 values to this one, so it has to change to 368. So I have added some 10 records into this data, but this won't take unless the schedule time comes. So let's say every day at 5 p.m. this has to refresh. So every day 5 p.m. this has to refresh. So whenever that 5 p.m. time hits, then only it will be able to refresh. So until that time, we will not be able to see the updated data. So those 10 records which are got added, so we will not be able to see that. Or if you want to see at that point of time, so you should be able to manually refresh. Okay. So for live, you don't need to touch anything. Live don't need any manual intervention or don't need any schedules. Okay. So this is directly connected to data source. Okay. It will take the frequent updates. It will take frequent updates from database. And extract connection will not take frequent updates. So either we need to do manual refresh or we need to wait till the next refresh happens. Let's say if you schedule for every day 5 p.m. So if you want to see the recent records, so then you need to wait till 5 p.m. until this gets refreshed. So in refresh, we have these many options. So you can, so the minimum time is 15 minutes, and we can keep hourly, weekly, daily, monthly according to our requirement. Is it clear? Yeah, Rakim. So if you want to publish it to server, you can publish in live or extract. So that is also depending on your requirement. You can publish in two ways, live or so if you want frequent updates, then publish in live. And let's say if the data Mhm. No, like when you connect to any data source, basically it will be live only. Okay, if you can publish directly. So here you can see there are two data sources. Two data sources are in live connection and one data source in extract connection. Okay, you can publish directly. I mean, not in Tableau public. In Tableau public, you can't publish without extract connection. In Tableau public, I mean, I'm generally saying about Tableau server. So in Tableau server, you can publish in live connection also. So Tableau public has a limitation. Tableau public has a limitation that you can't publish in live connection. We can't publish in live connection. Live connection. But in Tableau server, we can publish both live and extract. Yeah. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so that's how we can make use of live and extract. Yeah. So, Divya, can you tell me what is the difference between TWB and TWBX? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Prashant, can you tell me difference between live and extract? Hello. Yeah, Lakshmi. I'm asking Prashant. Prashant, can you tell me what is the difference between live and extract? Okay. Yeah, Rakib, can you tell me the difference between live and extract? Yeah, perfect. Okay, Lakshmi, can you tell me what is measure names and measure values? Yeah, okay. Yeah, correct. Okay, Shivalinga, can you tell me what is latitude and longitude and how these fields are generated? Okay, okay, no problem. Okay, so latitude and longitude are geolocation based columns which Tableau will automatically generate whenever you have geolocation. Okay. Anyways, I will send this file across. So that's about Tableau session 4. So we'll just start Tableau session 5. Okay, in Tableau session 5, we are going to discuss about any questions, Lakshmi? Mhm. So if you have more data, so you can use live or extract. So mainly most of the data, so I mean most of the organizations are using live mode. So they want to have frequent updates. So let's say one example is stock exchange. Stock exchange is something where you want to see the live updates. So the Nifty and all Nifty. So the market, how the market is going, how the market is performing. So you want to say the updates frequently, even in the live cricket that you see. Okay, live cricket. So you see those graphs. So I mean, while matching the cricket, you see those updates which are coming. So those updates also they are connecting to the live data. So if they connect to the live data, so they will be able to see those live information in the charts. So in the same way, if you want to see frequent updates which are getting updated in the SQL server or Oracle server, okay, if you have some limited amount of data, like some millions it can handle, 1 or 2 millions, you can say 1 or 2 millions of data you have. So most of the data sources, you can have it in live mode. So there are cases you can make some extract, I mean, some connections as extract. You have some huge data because of some huge data. So let's say some 10 million and above. Okay. So every time updating 10 million records, so it will be too tough in live mode. In extract mode, what happens is 10 million records will be stored in those that extract, and there is a particular time we can keep. So one scenario is data itself. Let's say I have this Excel file, right? Let's say I'm updating this file every monthly. Let's say salaries are there, employee salaries. Let's take an example of employee salaries. Okay. So this we will discuss every month. Let's say in every month I will make some update. So, and I'll make that update and I will share it across with all the employees. In this, so this update happens monthly. So then there is no point I refresh this file daily, or I will refresh this daily, or I will send it across daily. So this won't happen. So whatever change happens, so that change will, I mean, let's say if there is a change in your salary happen in 15th of May. So that change you can see at the month end, or 1st of April, 1st of June. So in that way, you can see at the end of the month. So then you can put monthly refreshes. Okay. Scenario where your data itself is getting updated monthly. Okay, so then there is no point of refresh or taking the frequent updates. So that's the reason. Any questions? Yeah. Okay, so in Tableau session 5, we are going to discuss about types of extensions and usage of calculation fields and types of calculations, and representation on how to use calculations in the view. So now let's start with the types of extensions. So we have already discussed about TWB and TWBX. So TWB is nothing but Tableau Workbook files have the TWB file extensions, where it holds worksheets plus 0 or more dashboards or sheets. I mean, so it will hold whatever sheets that we have created. It will hold the dashboards which are there. So everything will be stored except the data. So if the data is not there, so it will not show any visualizations. So only these sheets will show, and it will throw an error saying this file is not available. So until unless that file is available, you won't see anything. Why? Because this only contains the visualization. And Tableau bookmark. So I'll just open one Tableau workbook. So I'll just open Tableau session 18. So Tableau bookmark is something, let's say you have some 10 dashboards or 10 worksheets in your data in your Tableau workbook. If you want to separately, if you want to separate one workbook, so then you can make use of Tableau bookmark. So here I have 4 different worksheets. So in all these worksheets, I want to take out this do not chat. So what I will do, I'll go to window. I'll go into the worksheet, go to window. So click on bookmark, create bookmark. So I can just take this out from all these workbooks. I'll save it in desktop. Say do not chat. Okay. So in this Tableau workbook, I have multiple worksheets and multiple dashboards, but I want only this do not chat separately. So I have taken that. So if I go to Tableau, my desktop, so you can see, so do not chat is been created. So when I open that file, so you can see only that file is getting opened separately. Yeah, so only do not chat will be there in that workbook. So I want to separate this do not from this entire workbook. So in this way, you can do a bookmark. So that is about Tableau bookmark. So that's about Tableau bookmark, and now we'll see about Tableau packaged workbook, TWBX. The Tableau packaged workbook will have the TWBX file extension, and a package workbook is a single zip file which contains local file data plus background images. So if you want to share it to anybody, it's the best way to share this TWBX format. It will attach the workbook, the data plus visualization and the background images, everything. So that's why we call it as a packaged workbook or Tableau workbook extract. Okay, so types of extensions in Tableau. So we also have some other extensions which are .tde, .tds, and .tdsx. So we'll discuss one by one. So .tde or .hyper. So earlier, before 10.5 version, we have TDE, which is Tableau Data Extract. Okay, after 10.5 version, they started calling it as .hyper. It is 3 times faster than .tde. And so while connecting to, so if you want to do an extract, so just right click on this. So create an extract. The file which is getting created when you do an extract. So file, let right click on this, create extract. Let me connect a new data source. Okay, I'll just show those files. Connect to sample superstore. And I click on this, click on extract. Okay, so this is the file that is getting created. So you can see hyper extension. So these are the files which are already there, and type it will show as Tableau extract. And let me open this sample superstore. So it will have only the data. So whatever data that we have connected earlier, so it has visualization and everything, but the hyper file will show you only the data. Okay, so this way you can see only the data part. And this is about .hyper. So .hyper will be created only when you do right click on this and click on extract and click on extract here. So it will get stored in your local PC and will be saved as .hyper and type as Tableau extract. So .tde basically will have data in it. So it will have only data. Okay, and now let's talk about .tds and .tdsx. So .tds is nothing but Tableau data source. And .tdsx is nothing but Tableau data source extract. Okay, so Tableau data source meaning it will store the connection details. It will store the connection details. And this will also store connection details. Okay, this will also store connection detail plus data. So whenever you have extract, so let's say X in your extension, that means the data will also be attached to that file. So connection details meaning, I'll just show you by saving one file as TDS. So I'll just go to add to save data sources. Okay, so you can save it in .tds or .tdsx format. Okay, so let me just save this in D drive. I will save TDS example. Okay, so now I will save it in TDS mode. So I'm saving this basic Excel. So just save this, and I'll go open that TDS file. Go to D drive and I will open TDS example. So it will store the data connection details. So if you connect to SQL Server or Oracle, so it will store that server name, username also it will store, password it won't store, username and connection details like the server details, the port name, all those will be stored. In case if you connect to any data file, so it will show you where is the location of that file. So it will go to that location and it will show you the location of the file exactly. So the main, this was in the same way for Oracle or server. If you click on this edit connection, so in this place you will be able to see the connection details like server name, port name, and username details. So that's the importance of having this connection details. And we also have one more option to save it in .tdsx mode. Now let's open add to save data sources. So this is the process to create a .tdsx file. So let me save it as .tdsx. So TDSX example. Save. So TDSX example, I'll just open it up. So this will contain the data and the connection details. So if you are sharing this TDSX file with anybody, so they will be able to see the connection details plus data. But if you are sharing TDS, so they will only be able to see the connection details, but not the data. So now I have this information. Let's click on edit data source. Okay, so now you have the data and you can see the file location also. Okay, so now I will tell you the difference between .tds and .tdsx, .tdsx and .hyper. .hyper. So .hyper is basically storing the data. It is just storing the data. Storing the data, but not the connection details. In TDSX, it is storing the data as well as the connection details, or you can say location of the file. Location of the file. So now let's see how it is different. So let me connect to one Excel file. Okay, let's connect to one Excel. Uh, Let me connect to a new one. So let's go to desktop, the joins. Okay, so here I have the data for APAC, India, and Bangladesh. And now let me create an extract. So extract data. Click on this. Okay, so this is an extract file. I'll just save it in my D drive. Yeah, so hyper example, and save the file. And so the same file open it as, I'll save it as .tdsx. .tdsx. TDSX, new example. Save. Okay, so I'll just open up. Okay, now I will open this hyper example file. Okay, so in this, if I do an edit, okay, so it will have the data. So whatever is data is available in that file, so that data is stored. And if I do an edit connection, okay, so it is taking me to the hyper location. So the extension which I have saved, it is not showing me that Excel file location. So this is not storing the connection details. So if I open this TDSX new example, so when I do an edit connection, and I will be able to see where exactly that file is. So click on this edit data source and click on edit connection. Okay, so I can see that file location it is connected to, and I can also see the data. Okay, so the main difference between the TDSX and .hyper is basically it will store the TDSX will store the connection details or the location of the file. Hyper will only store the data, but not the connection details. So in case of Hyper, we have seen it is only storing the data, but not the location of the file. We can't see the location of the file. Even if you connect to SQL or Oracle, so it will only show you that particular information, that data only, but not the which server it is or what is the username, what is the port number. All those information will not be stored in Hyper. It will only be stored in .tdsx. Yeah, so that's about this type of extensions. So now in the next slides, we have calculations. So we'll continue that tomorrow. So meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask. Yeah, correct. Location of the file for flat files. For Oracle and SQL Server, it is the the server name and port name, username will be stored in the connection details. No, let's not hyper like that. So it depends on the requirement. So let's say you have some users. So users mostly will not have access to data source. Okay, we can't share any uh, credentials of database to users. So then in that case, they want to see the data, but we don't want to share the server names or and all. So then you can share it in .hyper data source to them, then they can access the data. In like if you want to send it to any developers, then you can send it in .tds or .tdsx format so that they will also be able to see the connection details. Is it clear? Yeah, Rakib. Mm, I don't, I mean, I am in this local piece, I am not able to show it. I'll just show it in the to in Tableau. Yeah, so when I say edit connection, right? So you can see this information. So the server name, the database, so username, like this it will store. So usually for others it is showing this file location. So let's say if I do an edit connection, it is going to my file location. So instead of this, yeah. So for SQL Server and all, it will open this window where it will have server name, database, and these things, username and password. Till like this only it will show. In Hyper, even this won't be shown. This window won't come in Hyper. Only in TDS or TDSX you can see this. Yeah, only in Tableau data source or Tableau data source extract, you can see this. Yeah, so that's about today's session. Any other questions? Yeah, correct. Yeah. So if the users want to see the data, but users should not have the access to Oracle or SQL. So then we'll send it in Hyper format. So Hyper will have the data, so it won't store any connection information. Then we can send it in Hyper format. So within our developers, we can send it in TDSX or TDS format. Why? Because it will store the connection details where you can see server name, database, all those things. Even the schemas and all we can see in .tds and .tdsx. Okay, so with that, we are in the middle of this Tableau session 5. We'll continue with Tableau session 5 and session 6 tomorrow. Okay, thank you all for joining. We'll continue tomorrow. Yeah.